WGSN-DB Going Solo Network welcomes you to You Can Find Love After 50 with your host, dating coach Lisa Copeland. Lisa's best-selling book on Amazon, The Winning Dating Formula for Women Over 50, has helped women all over the globe find love. Her weekly column in the Huffington Post, which is viewed by millions of readers, along with her unique insight into how to find a quality man, makes her the #1 dating coach for women over 50. And now, your host, Lisa Copeland.
Hi, everyone. You're listening to the You Can Find Love After 50 show on WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. I'm Lisa Copeland, an expert and dating coach for women over 50. And I love showing women how they can find love at this time in their life. So many women struggle because they're missing the next step on what to do. And instead of getting help, what they end up doing is quitting. And my mission is to keep as many women from quitting. No more of that. I want to help you keep moving forward so you can make this dream come true in your life. Today on our show, we're going to talk about what's cluttering up your love flow, both physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. And we're going to talk about all 4 of these areas because so many women think it's just about going online and putting a profile up there. And there's so much baggage we bring to the table that we're not even aware of. And we're vibrationally putting this baggage out there, again, without our awareness. So I want to help you clean up the baggage that you're carrying. That is the clutter, and we're often so unaware of it. We're going to start with the physical part of the love flow, and that's your environment. So what I hear so many women say is, if a man moved in, I'm not even sure I would have room for him. That's a problem. To draw and attract a man into your life, you need to make some space. So a great ritual to do is to clean out a drawer in your bathroom, clean out a drawer in your chest of drawers or wherever you store your socks, your underwear, anything that folds, and leave a space empty in your closet. It doesn't have to be a big space. This is a symbolic gesture to let the universe know I am making room for someone to come into my life. Now, another thing you want to do is to make sure you don't have pictures of your ex around. Most women that are divorced do not, although some are still very friendly with their spouses. So this would apply to you. But a lot of women who have lost a spouse through death, they do have pictures around. I had a friend and she had pictures in what is called the love quarter in Feng Shui. I don't know if you've ever heard of Feng Shui, but it is about creating a peaceful home and environment that draws in what you want. And it's divided into what's called a bagua. And in the far right-hand corner from where you walk into the door is your love area. Now, my friend's love area was right next to a bathroom, and it was kind of by a garage. And it was an office, by the way, by that garage. In that office, she had all these pictures of her husband and her still around, and her husband and her children. Now, there is a thing in Feng Shui that you're supposed to close the toilet seat. I never do. Or you're supposed to close the door when it's not being used. That I will do. The reason they tell you this is because the flow into the bathroom, I know this is a little woo-woo, but stick with me. The flow into the bathroom, especially if it's by your love corner, is flushing down the toilet the love you want. I don't know if it's true or not. You can look up books on Feng Shui. There's tons of them out there. But the point really for her was that love corner had that bathroom with the toilet seat always up because she had boys. And it had that office with those pictures. And I said to my friend, Your husband has been gone like 7 years. Why don't you give your kids the pictures of him with them? And do you think it's possible for you to put the pictures away so that it's like opening up this new environment? Also, in your love corner, whatever part of your house or apartment this is in, you definitely want to have things in there that signify love. Red heart, statues of people together, pairs of things, the word love, and you want to put it in. Now for her in an office, that was easy to do. She went to TJ Maxx, she bought something that said love, she put it up on a shelf. She also made sure to inject in there some of the love colors, which are like pinks and reds. Now I know this can be very out there, but it might be worth trying. But definitely get rid of things from your ex that may still be in your home. Or if you are storing things for him, then what you want to do is you want to box it up, tape it over, put his name on it, whatever's in there. You need to free the space from having the energy of your ex in it. It's super, super important to do that. Another thing physically you might want to do, this has to do with your TV, is sit out and watch love movies. Hallmark is notorious for these soppy love movies that come on. And it's kind of fun to watch them. They're so fairy tale-like, but it helps you get into a love mode. And this is really important. I want to talk about pictures one more second before we move on to emotionally why you need to unclog your love life. If you have a lot of pictures from your kids growing up, from your weddings, I have friends that said to me, I saved all the pictures for my wedding, from my wedding to my ex, because I thought my kids might want it. Most of the times kids are not looking back at that. It's very painful for them to deal with a divorce in the first place, even older children. But something that you can do, I did this, I gave my children the majority of the pictures I had of their dad. I kept some because it is history and we were a family. And what they did was they made this amazing photo album for their father for his birthday, and he loved it. So this gives you an opportunity to get some more things out of your house and to also give your ex a gift through your children. Physically in your house too, you want to make sure that your home is fairly neat. We all have a clutter area. In fact, I happen to be in my kitchen right now where I rarely tape these shows. I usually tape them in my office. But this one I'm taping in my kitchen, and I have always had a clutter counter. For some reason, I cannot seem to keep this counter tidy. No matter how many times I tidy it up, things always come back. So one of the things that you want to do, which I have started doing, is you want to invest in some baskets or some plastic containers. I got to tell you, the dollar store has some pretty nice ones if you want to be able to put things in it and move it out of the clutter areas. This is really important too. You want everything in your life to have flow because clutter blocks your energy. It actually takes you down. I know when I clear that kitchen counter, I am like happy as can be, and I'm wiping that counter off and I'm thinking, oh, this feels so good. And because I drop everything on this counter the second I walk in, which I am changing, I am a work in progress too, when it's cluttered, I just feel that energy. It's like, do you know what I mean? You feel heavy. So make sure to declutter areas in your home because it'll make you feel better and it'll make you love your home more. And anything you can do to open your heart and to draw love in is super important. Okay, let's talk about emotionally how you might be clogging that love drain. Here's a really good emotional thing that many women do. They procrastinate going out there to date. Or they procrastinate grabbing a friend and going to a restaurant bar and just sitting down. The nice thing about taking one friend, it's a little more comfortable. And if no one's at the bar, at least you can have a drink with someone and you're not just sitting there alone. But the things that we don't like to do, we often will procrastinate doing? Because it's either fear getting in our way, or it feels too overwhelming for us to deal with. So let's say you're going to go online and you just haven't been able to write that profile. You want to start to take baby steps, because the big step of writing the profile is what's stopping you. So you want to take baby steps by doing this. Number one, here is my three-part template for writing a profile. Write a little about you, write a little about him, and write a little story that he can come into. So what would the baby step be? Just sit down and write a little about you. And then the next day, write what you want in a man. And then the next day, write the story. Then the next day, start looking at dating sites. Now that too can become overwhelming. So choose one site a day to look at for 5 days. Here's a way to make that pretty easy to do. On my site at findaqualityman.com, I have chosen some dating sites that I think are good for women over 50. Instead of having to go out and research a ton of sites, go over there. Again, that's findaqualityman.com/dating sites. Well, it's findaqualityman.com/dating-sites, or just go to findaqualityman.com and look in the navigation bar for dating sites. And I have quite a few on there that have been very successful for my clients, and I'd love them to be successful for you too. So the biggest thing to keep you from procrastinating truly is doing baby steps. If you want to go out to a meetup, choose one meetup. You don't want to be getting inundated by 55 meetups every day in their activities. Choose one meetup that would really interest you. A great one where men are the happy hours. That's where men will show up. Chances are they're not going to show up for other things, that a lot of women will be there. But for happy hours, there's a lot of men there. So give that a chance for sure. We need to take a commercial break here for a second. You're listening to the You Can Find Love After 50 show on WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network. I'm Lisa Copeland, the host of the show and an expert and dating coach for women over 50. By the way, I have a great gift for you also that you can pick up at findaqualityman.com/radio. It's my best 35 first date questions that I would love to share with you. Dating is so awkward, especially first dates. And instead of doing a resume job thing on a date, you're going to be really comfortable because you're going to have 35 questions you can choose from. Pick the ones you like the best and use those and see how they work for you. Again, that's findaqualityman.com/radio show.
You're listening to WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network, Singles Talk Radio channel, where we take a lighthearted and candid approach to discussions on the journey of relationship loss, divorce, parenting, being single, relationships building, dating, and yes, sex. Join our listeners and begin living your best life.
The other piece of emotional clutter that you might have is envy. Envy of your friends for being in a relationship when you are not. The problem with this is what we focus on is what comes to us. And when we're focusing on a friend who is in a good relationship, we're not focusing on the positive of it. We're focusing on we're jealous. Why do they have this and I don't? The best thing you can do is when someone finds their true love, be happy for them, because that draws more happiness to you. And it's really important to emotionally unclutter your life so you can draw more happiness to you. The third place you want to unclutter is mentally. What does this mean? This is denying that you're actually single. I've heard many women say, I think my husband's going to come back to me. This is a problem. This keeps you from moving forward. Or feeling intimidated by men. If you feel intimidated by men, I have so many programs that can help you understand men. When you understand men, they're so easy to be around and they're fun to be around. But when you don't understand them, it's a problem. So when you're feeling intimidated, you come on a date with this energy that is one of fear and not being good enough. And what happens is your energy sort of caves in versus feeling amazing about yourself. You're choosing him versus worrying about whether he's going to choose you. That's a huge thing for us women because we want to be loved by all. Because we want to be loved by all, we end up going on a date worrying about what he will think versus making him prove to you that he's worthy of you. Another piece mentally you want to unclog is avoidance. And that goes a little bit back to the emotional part. And that is procrastination again. Or avoiding dating. Saying, I don't have time for it. I just can't make the time. We always make the time for whatever we want in our lives. If you want love in your life, you've got to stop avoiding everything that's stopping you from getting it. Another reason people avoid dating sites is they are fearful of rejection. This is hard. And the reason we worry about rejection is because we're giving the other person the power. And that goes back again to us drawing our power back to us and making him prove he's okay enough for us. Another mental area that you want to unclutter is that people-pleasing part. I used to be the biggest people pleaser. I would bend like a pretzel to make sure they were okay. What happens is you're not okay. For example, I would stay on dates. This is before I was a dating coach. I would stay on dates and let men jibber jabber to me for hours. Same with on the phone. They never asked me out again, or they never asked me on the phone to even go out. They just talking to me. And the problem with that is it was going nowhere. And at that time, I didn't know how to get a guy to come forward. I teach that to women all the time, how to draw him out with those phone conversations, how to get him from the phone to the meet and greet. I was people pleasing. Or you'll stay on a date too long because you don't know how to get out of there. You know this guy isn't right for you. What you have to do is I teach my clients 9 exit strategies so that they feel good about themselves in leaving. They're honoring themselves. They're not mean when they leave the date. They're kind and they're saying, I'm more important than his feelings because you're wasting time. The other part mentally is drama. If you are still hung up on your ex, don't go out there and date. You've got to do the work to get over him. It's really important that you come with a clean slate and that you're not showing up on a date talking about your ex. Have you ever seen men write no drama queens? A lot of that has to do with the anger you still have with your ex. So clean it up. The last area that you want to unclog the love flow and open yourself up to love is spiritually. Spiritually, you're clogging your love flow when your self-esteem is low. I know it's been a long time since a man has probably said to you, you're beautiful, you're amazing. So that has to start to come from within you now. And that is part of what's going to build your self-esteem up. One of the amazing exercises I do with women is we create lists of what's awesome about them. And I read the lists back to them. And when they realize it's them I'm talking about, because I say to them, there's a friend of mine I want to share something about with you. Is that okay? And they get very teary because they realize for the first time in a long time how much they have to offer to a relationship, to themselves, to the world. And they get very teary and emotional about this. It raises their self-esteem. Oftentimes I will say, where do you feel around men from 0 to 10? And some will say -5, honestly. And after I've done this exercise with them, they will say 5 or 10 even. I've had that. Or I've had women say, why wouldn't a man like me? But it all starts with you loving you. By the way, I work with women all the time on this. If you're interested in coaching with me, come to findaqualityman.com and look for the coaching tab in the navigation bar and fill out an application to have a complimentary 30-minute session with me. We'll talk about what's going on in your dating life and what your next step is. I will give you tools that you'll leave that session with, knowing the next step for you. Women tell me it's amazing how much they learn in that session. I only have a couple, so available every month. So if you're serious about this and about changing your love life, go apply for one and we'll let you know when we have an opening. Another place where you want to spiritually unclog that love flow that's clogged up is when you become a victim. Everybody's got a date but me. Everybody's a couple but me. Everybody is this but me. Imagine putting your two fingers, that first and second finger, up to your forehead with the V on it, because that's what you're telling the world you are. And your energy goes out there as victim versus as I'm an amazing, confident, independent woman who would love a man in my life, but my life is great. That's what you really want to show up, by the way, that you have a great life. Get involved in things, have fun, because that makes you glow and men love that glow. Another place that's a real problem in the spirituality area is where you're focusing. So many women say, there's not enough men out there, no one's online to date, everyone I've ever met has been awful. Now, some of that comes because we can't often recognize good men. When I work with clients, we create a quality man template, which helps them see what's really going to make them happy with a man. We choose our type over and over again because he feels good to us, but over and over again, we fail at a relationship with him. So you have to learn to have a new type. And that too is part of spirituality and going into a new journey, getting out of your comfort zone. Dating's not comfortable. We're not born to date. And dating started in like the 20th century. Prior to that, it was a business deal or the ability to make children. Who was survival of the fittest? Dating is uncomfortable, not only for women, for men too, for both sexes. And you got to get out of your comfort zone. Put yourself out there. Also, make sure that you focus on what you want. Stop focusing on what's not there, which is where we started with there's no men out there and all that. Focus on where you want to be. Then figure out where you are now and how you're going to get to where you want to be. I promise you, when you start unclogging all these love drains that are all mucked up, you're going to be able to start attracting someone really good for you. It's clutter, and you want to unclog it. I'm Lisa Copeland, the expert and dating coach for women over 50. My website is findaqualityman.com. Come visit me. Get your free gift. Also at findaqualityman.com/radio, where you'll get my 35 best first date questions, so you'll feel relaxed on a date. And I hope you have an amazing journey out there. Until next time, take good care. Bye-bye.